Have you ever scanned a room or your feed and thought, how is it that everyone else seems wrapped in constant noise, crowds, invitations, group chats buzzing at midnight, while my phone sits there, quiet? Their lives look like a non-stop celebration, a carousel of smiling faces and clinking glasses. Meanwhile, yours can feel like a still room, a soft lamp, a handful of messages, sometimes none at all. That twinge in the chest is familiar, isn't it? The doubts arrive like uninvited guests. Maybe I'm falling behind. Maybe something's wrong with me. But what if the silence isn't a curse at all? What if it's a signal? Not a verdict of failure, but a signpost of growth. Here's a truth that can reframe your story. What looks like loneliness from the outside can be the clearest evidence that you are becoming someone rare on the inside. Stay with me until the end. Once you see this, you'll never look at solitude the same way again. If wisdom like this belongs in your daily routine, hit subscribe to Stoicism Drive now. Together, we'll build the grounded strength and steady mind that carry you through any season. Part 1. Depth can't breathe in shallow waters. Think back to the last time you revealed something tender, something you've guarded for years. Maybe it was a dream that still scares you to speak aloud. Maybe it was a fear that sits behind your smile. Maybe it was a raw question about meaning, purpose, or faith. And what happened? A polite laugh, a quick pivot to a lighter topic, a joke tossed over your words like a blanket to hide them. You watched your thoughts sink like a stone that never reached the bottom. That hurts because in that instant you feel it. You weren't heard. You weren't seen. You weren't understood. Yet that feeling doesn't mean you were wrong to go deep. It means you were speaking a language that the surface can't translate. While many drift on top of the water, you're diving where the light thins and the pressure asks for courage. If your thoughts are rich, reflective, and intentional, shallow chatter will always feel like air that never fills your lungs. That isn't a flaw, it's simply the cost of depth. Look closely and you'll notice how quickly people can connect when nothing is required of them. Gossip is quick, distraction is cheap, shared noise feels like belonging, until it doesn't. Those ties vanish almost as fast as they appear, as if they were written in steam on a mirror. If, however, you crave truth, loyalty, and meaning, blending in gets harder. You begin to notice how often conversations avoid the very thing your heart wants to explore. You're not difficult, you're rare. Rarity is always misunderstood at first. Picture a crowded table. Laughter erupts at stories that sound big but say little. You pose a question that matters. What did your last failure teach you? And the volume drops. Eyes dart. Someone fills the silence with another harmless anecdote. In those moments you might wonder, is there something wrong with me? What if the better question is, what if this room isn't built for the kind of conversation I need? Depth will always feel out of place in shallow water. That is not a judgment, it's physics. Ask yourself, if you feel out of step during empty conversations, could it be because you were made for a different rhythm? Because your quiet, your careful questions, and your hunger for what's real are signals you were meant for a larger ocean? Keep going. Once this clicks, you'll stop confusing solitude with failure. Part 2. Solitude, the training ground of self-mastery. Why do so many fear being alone? It's not the quiet itself, it's what the quiet reveals. When the noise fades, when the laughter dissolves, when there's no one left to distract us from ourselves, we're left with the unfiltered mind, restless, untrained, eager to run. For most people, that mirror is uncomfortable, so they sprint away from it. Calendars jam with events, nights fill with parties, days overflow with chatter, not always out of love for company, but out of fear of their own company. Growth often looks strange in the eyes of the crowd. Choosing a night of reflection over another noisy gathering can be mistaken for coldness or arrogance. But look beneath the surface. The person who needs constant noise to feel alive is not as free as the one who can sit in silence and still feel whole. Which strength would you rather build, the dependent kind that relies on a crowd, or the durable kind that travels with you everywhere? Consider a simple experiment. No phone, no conversation, no background soundtrack, just 3 days with your own thoughts, a pen, and a window. Night 1. The mind rebels. Regrets you've avoided show up with suitcases. Insecurities knock at the door. Old fears sit on the edge of the bed, swinging their legs. By day 2, you start to notice patterns. The stories you tell yourself. The loops that drain your energy. The judgments you inherited but never chose. By day 3, a shift. The monsters shrink when named. The mind softens when seen. The heart steadies when heard. This is why solitude is not punishment, it is practice. It's the gym for the soul. The forge for the mind. The place where attention is lifted like a weight until it grows steady and strong. Sit in the quiet and you learn where your thoughts wander when nobody's watching. You see how reactive or distracted your inner world can be. And once you see clearly, you can train. You learn to guide your attention back, to question your assumptions, to choose what deserves space in your head. Little by little, you become the kind of person who can hold themselves together when life tries to pull them apart. To people chasing constant stimulation, that skill looks invisible, but in life's storm, it's everything. When plans break, when relationships shift, when the unexpected knocks, the person who trained in silence knows how to steady their breath, anchor their focus, and make the next right move. Solitude was never empty. It was the classroom where you learned to carry your own weight. So, the next time you stumble into a quiet evening, resist the urge to run. Stay a little longer, listen a little deeper, train the mind that will accompany you to every room you'll ever enter. Each honest minute alone is shaping you into someone unshakable when the wind rises. Practical ways to train in the quiet. Start with a timer, 10 focused minutes a day where you do nothing but breathe and watch your thoughts come and go. Keep a small notebook and name the patterns you notice when a fear repeats. Write the counter story you choose instead. Take silent walks without headphones and let your senses pull you back into the present, the weight of your feet, the air on your skin, the sounds you usually ignore. Build a small ritual at the start or end of the day. Light a candle, prepare tea. Tidy your space, and let that cue your mind for reflection. And once a week, give yourself a simple challenge, 1 hour without screens. Just a window and a question worth answering. Strength doesn't shout, it's built in these quiet, ordinary reps. Part 3. Quality outweighs quantity. Let's return to the image of 2 tables. At the first, 20 people crowd together. The room is bright, the laughter constant, the stories quick and showy. Everyone appears connected, yet nobody is truly seen. When the night ends, the memories scatter like smoke. At the second table, there are only 2 chairs, just you and one person willing to listen without rushing to perform. No masks, no curated highlight reel, no pretending. Every sentence breathes, every pause feels safe. The silence isn't empty, it's shared. Which table would you choose? Choose companions who stretch you, challenge you, and cheer for the better version of you, and welcome those you can lift in the same way. Friendship isn't a scoreboard, it's a source. One true companion can brighten a year more than 100 familiar faces who never stay when the music stops. We live in an era obsessed with quantity, follows, views, contacts, and yet loneliness keeps rising. That's because depth can't be measured in numbers. It's measured in loyalty, in honesty, in presence. It's measured by who shows up when there's nothing to gain. Think about the people who have marked your life. The one who checked on you without being asked. The one who told you the hard truth you didn't want but needed. The one who sat with you in the hardest week. Not to fix you, but to stay. That is connection. A crowd can stand with you in celebration. A true friend will sit with you in the dark and help you find the switch. If your life looks quiet right now, if your contact list is short, don't label it failure. Call it clarity. It means you're filtering out the temporary and the draining. It means you're protecting your energy from those who were never really with you. Quantity is easy, quality is rare, and where rarity lives, value grows. The fewer but truer bonds will nourish you, challenge you, and multiply your courage when it matters most. This is also where standards come in. When you raise the standard for the conversations you'll tolerate and the energy you'll absorb, you naturally reduce the number of casual ties that clutter your life. You start choosing depth over drama, listening over performing, presence over posturing. The result isn't isolation, it's alignment. Few, strong, and real beats many, loud, and hollow, every time. What do higher standards look like in practice? You can decline an invite that costs you more energy than it gives. You can replace vague small talk with one sincere question. What's been meaningful to you this month? And notice who meets you there. You can set time limits with people who only call to complain and never change. You can forgive without reopening doors that repeatedly harmed your peace. None of this is dramatic or cruel, it's alignment. You're choosing the soil where your life can actually grow. Part 4. The right people arrive in the right season. Nature coaches patience if we're willing to watch. Flowers don't bloom in winter no matter how badly we want color in the snow. Fruit doesn't ripen because we stare at it, it ripens when it's ready. Yet we treat friendship like express shipping, demanding overnight arrivals and instant soulmates. That's not how roots work. You cannot force the right people into your life before you're ready to recognize them. There are seasons when rooms stay empty, not because you're broken, but because you're being prepared. The quiet seasons teach you to hear your own voice without an audience. They help you stop chasing places that can't hold you. They strengthen your boundaries so you'll protect your peace when new people finally appear. Consider a familiar arc. For years, you try to fit in. You laugh at jokes that don't land. You nod through conversations that drain you. You dim your light hoping to be accepted. Nothing lasts. Then something shifts. You stop chasing. You stop forcing. You show up as you, full voice, full values, full boundaries. Slowly, the landscape changes. People who value your depth start to gather. Not many, but enough. Looking back, you realize, if they'd come earlier, you wouldn't have recognized them. If you had kept shrinking to belong, you never would have met them at all. Here's the paradox. When you dim your light to blend in, the people who could truly see you walk right by. Your brilliance doesn't repel the right people, it guides them. Be a beacon. Beacons don't chase ships. They hold their position and make the way visible. Your winter may feel long. Your patience may feel stretched. But nature never rushes, and everything that matters blooms in its time. The right people will not arrive to rescue you from emptiness. They will arrive to walk beside your strength. They won't complete you. They will join your fullness. So hold your ground. Keep your standards. Practice your values in the quiet. When they come, they'll recognize your depth because they carry their own, and your lives will amplify each other. Conclusion. What a lack of friends really means. So what does having few friends truly mean? It means you have standards that guard your peace. It means you'd rather walk alone than follow a crowd headed nowhere. It means you're training the inner skills that keep you steady when the outer world shakes. When the right people arrive, you won't need them to fill a void. You'll join forces to build something bigger than either of you could alone. Across time, creators and clear thinkers discovered the same pattern. Solitude sharpens insight. Quiet refines character, and crowds often stampede toward distraction. Real freedom grows out of self-mastery, the ability to guide your attention. Shape your responses, and stay aligned with your values no matter who is or isn't texting back. When you sit alone, you are not abandoned. You are in the forge of your own becoming, hammering raw iron into a blade that can cut through confusion. The world may still applaud noise. Let it. Better to stand alone in truth than sit comfortably in a crowd built on performance. Better to cultivate a few real bonds than to juggle 100 hollow ones. Better to spend an hour in honest reflection than a weekend in conversations that empty you out. If this video brought you value, tap like, subscribe to Stoicism Drive, and drop a comment that says, quality over quantity. Make it your pledge to walk this path with standards and strength. Share this with someone who needs that gentle reminder today, and when you're ready, choose the next video on the screen. It might not only change how you think, but how you live.